is the right to tell what they do not want to hear. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. Tired of the same repetitive government narratives? Then wave goodbye to the distractions and rhetoric of corporate media. For this is Anti-Media Radio.
I want to get the language right.
The big government is in trouble.
You're all a bunch of slaves! Bunch of slaves!
What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness, but is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another.
What's your definition of media?
And now, here's your host, S.M. Gibson.
We are not even on the air yet, and the phone lines are blowing up, but that's okay. Welcome to another edition of Anti-Media Radio. This is February the 18th, 2016, live from San Diego, California. This is what's happening right now. The world, it's a mess. This is what we're doing. This is what's going on. I'll tell you what right now. God gave you free will, but the government exists to take it away from you. Donald Trump is spouting his Hitler nonsense on TV, yet meanwhile sometimes saying stuff that even makes me go, wow, you're calling Saudi Arabia out on that? That's pretty interesting. It's all a big scam. It's all fake. Let's do this tonight. Mr. Shannon Madden, all the way from...
What's up?
Madden. Shannon, how you doing?
I don't know, man. We're going to talk about it. That's for damn sure.
It's going to get loud.
God. Can you believe it? Trump on national television saying the same thing we said week in and week out on the show. Something that nobody in the United States government is talking about, the fact that Saudi Arabia is responsible for 9/11.
That's it. I want to go ahead and say this right now. Thank you so much for tuning in to ucy.tv/TAMR, and you can catch us anytime you want on YouTube by tuning into Anti-Media Radio, Googling it with S.M. Gibson, YouTubing it, whatever you want to do. Catch the replays. Calls are pouring in right now. We're going to get to all that. Yeah, I'm just really focused in on this, Shannon. I'm going to go to Claire now. Claire Burnish, one of the most brilliant, amazing writers, people I know. She's thrown off. I'm thrown off. This is crazy what's going on right now. Claire, what's going on?
Trump is kind of throwing the wrench in the gears a little bit, although now, of course, because, people don't want to believe what it is that he's saying, they're saying that he's going to give illegitimacy to the call for questioning 9/11 and the Iraq War and everything else. So this is just a big kind of crazy mess.
I don't believe it. I believe that this man is a lunatic. I think he is on the ledge. I think I truly believe he is a fascist totalitarian, not telling anybody to endorse him. But this guy is saying some stuff that me, you, and Shannon have talked about over and over and over. And he has the microphone on the planet, and he's saying it. There's hats off to that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a big deal. He has the ears of the world right now, and, like they say, bad publicity is good publicity, so he has garnered a lot of attention, and he has the platform, he has the mic, and he's calling it out, and I think it's a good thing. I really think it's a good thing. I think that these issues need to be looked at, and he is calling for that, so, yeah.
Shannon.
Well, another thing. Hey, Miss Claire, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing wonderfully. How are you?
I was doing great until I read your story on antimedia.org about Parmesan cheese. Oh, my anger. You don't know how much Parmesan cheese I consume in a week's time, much less a year's time. Me and Parmesan cheese, we go way back. Way back. And Scotty, I didn't mean to shift gears or anything, but this is something that needs to be addressed.
Got to get that wood. I know you're going with this. Let's talk about it. Let's go ahead and do this. They calling in. Let's do this. Jump in. Area code 50. Hey, welcome to Anti-Media Radio. This is your host, S.M. Gibson. Tell us your name, where you're calling from tonight.
Hey, this is Will from Oklahoma. I follow you guys on Facebook, and I saw your post. And I've never heard your guys' program, so I don't know what it's about. But I saw your post about Trump, and I really don't know what to think about him. He worries me. I know that he said that he's going to perpetuate the police state and the surveillance state, and that worries me. But there's so many libertarians, well, they self-identify as libertarians, that have endorsed him, like Alex Jones has endorsed him, and he's all in for him, and that worries me. But I think Trump is going to be basically probably another Bush. What do you guys think about him?
I tell you what, man, I personally think you're right. There's no part of me that's going to endorse Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form outside of my craziness that just wants to watch the theater. That part of me wants to watch Donald Trump. I'm not going to lie. But...
Well, I think that's what part has got him to the point where he's at now. Everybody wants to watch Donald Trump now because there's no telling what he's going to do next.
Explosiveness. You want to watch the craziness of it. I mean, we can sit here and act like we're cool and like always, that's entertaining to watch. It is. But at the same time, he is talking about some very fascist policies. Like, he's completely unhinged, and yet somebody like me that's just like, this don't need to happen. He's talking about 9/11, and he's saying it on a debate with Anderson Cooper on CNN, talking about how the Saudis brought down the World Trade Centers. Like, I've waited 15 years for those words to come out of somebody's mouth, and it's come out of this fascist's mouth. I'm very bored myself.
I'm wondering if this is like by them putting Donald Trump up, if this is like a calculated move by, like, I don't know what you would call them, the one-worlders, because I think that by him saying that would appeal to the majority of Americans, and that it's all like a chess game and just like a dog and pony show to get him put in. And then when he's in there, he's really not going to give a crap about the 28 pages and all that, and it's just going to be more of the same Bush-Obama policies.
But do you really think what does he have to gain politically from going out on this limb? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not...
Yeah, that's what I don't understand either. That's what... I can't wrap my...
Well, again, Trump came into this thing with absolutely nothing to lose. And that's the interesting part about his candidacy versus all of the other candidates up there. Everybody else up there, Ben Carson aside, are pretty much career politicians. I mean, this is their shot at the big leagues. Trump has nothing to lose. This is a big PR stunt for him that has gone horribly right if you're Donald Trump.
And,
horribly wrong, ultimately, for the American people.
I think also that it doesn't matter if he actually it does matter if he gets office. I think that would be terrible. But I don't think him calling out for the release of, missing information or anything, I don't think that's reliant on him actually winning office. I think now that it's been brought up and in the national spotlight again, I think that the movement can gain some momentum.
I agree, and I'm going to tell you something. Donald Trump, like, let me say this again, Donald freaking Trump, who's insane, to me, in my brain, is a step away from Adolf Hitler. Donald Trump has just brought up the most important issue in my mind going, and is calling it
what
out.
worries me is
It's
his connections.
crazy.
Yeah, given his connections to New York City, that's what always makes me wonder about him is if he knew. And I've never looked at his financials or if any of that's public or open to where anybody could see if he profited before or after 9/11 with all the insider trading, or if he was even into that. I don't know. I know he was mostly more into real estate, I guess. But I don't know.
He didn't profit off of it because. But I was actually talking to some relatives of mine last night, and we were talking about the Giuliani connection and how it became very apparent Giuliani benefited off of it. Of course, the Bushes did. Of course, lots of politicians did benefit off that. But Trump being a lifelong New Yorker, and he's saying this crap. This is important. This is huge. This is the moment we've been waiting for. The Saudi, the lie is exposed, people.
I think it's particularly important too with all this buildup for war too. I mean, we're still allying ourselves with the Saudis, and we're still going in on everything and excusing their human rights abuses and everything else. If what he's saying is true, it's widely suspected, then it is a hugely important deal.
And listen, I've got no shame in jumping off of Donald Trump's shoulders on this one, because we know I ain't jumping on the bandwagon. We've been saying this on this radio program for a year and a half. He's given us the platform for a national agenda for what we've been telling everybody.
Well, now at your next, I don't know if you guys, if you don't mind me interject there. You got
Kevin,
something really interesting.
I want to go ahead and bring you in real quick, Kevin. Kevin is usually sitting next to me, but I'm across the country right now. But Kevin's stuck back in Alabama with your crappy weather. But Kevin's brilliant, so please go ahead, Kevin.
I don't know about that. I'm just trying to force my way in here, but it'll give you something interesting to talk about at your next family outing. I'm sure we've all got one of those obnoxious family members. If not more than a handful of them that are just they've been on the Trump bandwagon for a while now. So, this will give you definitely, when you get talking politics, if you get into that with your family members, you'll have something to bring up and see what your family members' thoughts are and see where it goes. If anything more, at least you've got some common ground from which to launch some more other interesting conversations. But I'm glad he said it. And like yourself, I was pretty surprised and amazed when he said it. I didn't get to catch the debates live, but I called the next day. I was kind of halfway paying attention, but when I heard him say that in a replay of it, my jaw literally dropped. So it's good stuff. Well, glad to hear it finally coming from somebody. I just didn't expect it to be Donald Trump of all people.
I tell you what, I grew up playing basketball, Kevin. I'm between 6'4" and 6'5". For most people that don't know me, I'm actually extremely tall. Grew up playing basketball and played point guard. And I think of it in that mentality, like Donald Trump is thrown the alley-oop up. Somebody's got to dunk the basketball in now. I'm not telling anybody to vote for Donald Trump or support Donald Trump, but this guy just threw the basketball up towards the hoop. Somebody needs to dunk it now. We're talking about what needed to be talked about for a long time. We need to hit it home.
I just hope it's not like a campaign stunt, and then when he gets in, he's not going to care.
Who's voting for him on this? We're talking about a Republican Party that for 15 years, even the Democrats, if you mention 9/11, you get your eyes rolled out. Oh, we're gonna go blow up some brown children now because 9/11. Like, that's the world we've lived in. It's crazy. This is the prototypical
one more
president right here. I'm gonna run for president. This is the prototype. I'm a good Christian man. I'm a good Christian white man. And I tell you what, I love the Christians. And I hate
Hey,
the
can I
brown
ask you
people.
guys
And
one
I'm going to
thing?
build a wall, and I'm going to blow the other brown people up. And we're all going to be here together. And this is what's going to happen. That's the world we live in. And it's insane.
That's pretty fascist. But
that's where
let me
we
ask you,
live. That is pretty fascist.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys one thing, kind of getting off of Trump, but something that I can't wrap my head around. Do you guys actually think, well, I think it was more for our government, but do you guys think that it was the Saudis or the Israelis behind 9/11?
I'm going to go ahead and throw this to Claire, but I'm going to go ahead and throw this in there before she gets her intellectual answer. I think it was a combination of the both.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I was going to say too. I mean, I really, honestly don't know. I've looked into it and everything. Of course, I've investigated, but to the best I can discern, I would say both.
I will say this in defense of the country of Israel, in defense of even the nation of Saudi Arabia, and in defense of the people of the United States. I believe it was so compartmentalized. It was so internalized. It was so very, 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 very. It was the Mossad in very specific areas. It was the CIA in specific. It's not the countries. It's terms. We view it as Israel did it, or Saudi Arabia did it, or United States did it, or George Bush did it. None of that's true. It's very compartmentalized. And it was done to overthrow emotion, basically, to throw behind support, to kill a bunch of people. And I don't even think the people that killed a bunch of people wanted to kill them. They were just so selfish and greedy. They were just like, who cares if we kill them to get our interest across?
It's the government. It's the government. It's not the people. And just like
absolutely.
we kind of not stereotype, but we generalize, and name a country, but it's not the people necessarily. Just like when people say, "Oh, Americans this" or "America that," it's not the people of the United States. It's the government. We're not happy about our government either. Just like some people in other countries are not happy about their government either. So I think that needs to be emphasized as well.
Absolutely, Karen. Thank you so much for the caller. And I'm going to go ahead and jump to another caller right now. Area code 608. Thank you for calling into Anti-Media Radio. This is your host, S.M. Gibson. Tell us your name and where you're calling from tonight.
Donnie Robbins from Wisconsin.
Donnie from Wisconsin. So what's on your mind?
Yeah, I just wanted to call and say, fuck Donald Trump, little dick ass, and faggot ass, that bitch ass nigga.
Fair enough. Why do you think that, though?
I actually agree with everything he said there. Probably the best call so far.
Because he's a racist, and he's a rapist.
Fair enough. Now, why?
Keep going, man. I was waiting for the beat to drop. There's got to be another one in there, man.
But I tell you what, here's what I'm about, and I'm not a Bernie Sanders guy. I'm not a Donald Trump guy. I think they just say crap to get the masses involved. I think the problem we have in this world, and I think the reason Donald Trump and both Bernie Sanders are succeeding is because they're playing on emotion. And so what we're about here at Anti-Media is not the emotion, but we're about the intellect. So tell me, intellectually, why you feel that about Donald Trump. light up when I say it. And you know what? I'm going to be Trump about this. I'm going to be Kanye about it. Post-Kardashian society. I coined it. It's where we live. It's a post-Kardashian society. It's fake. It's phony. It's all a joke. You're sitting here looking at the theater of you're going to get something for free from Bernie, or you're going to get to blow somebody up because they're brown from Trump. Wow. It's a joke. Live your life. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your loved ones. That's what life is about. It's about loving the people around you. And getting involved in this theater is asinine. It's crazy. And if you want to sit here and support some lunatic like Ted Cruz because you think you're a Christian, you're a fool. Welcome to Anti-Media Radio, area code 203. Tell us your name and where you're calling from tonight.
Hey, what's up, man? My name is Parker. I'm calling from Connecticut.
Parker, what's on your mind?
Yep. Hey, what's going on? So, what's the deal here? Is this live?
This is it. This is live on the air. What are you thinking?
Live on the air. Oh, I want to say hi to my mom. Shout out.
Shout out to Parker's mom.
Yeah. So, I don't think she's listening to this, but so Donald Trump. What do you guys think about this whole 9/11 spiel?
It's wild, man. I mean, it is. I think it's a big toss-up. Like, I don't know.
Do you think 9/11 was known before it's about to happen?
Well, I know for a fact that the Saudis were involved in 9/11.
Yeah.
It gets a lot deeper from that. The fact that Donald Trump has the gall and the arrogance to insinuate it. Like, Donald Trump is a fascist. And I don't agree with him, but the person I hate the most is saying the thing I agree with the most. And
Dude, I know. I feel the same way. It's crazy because I want someone to be doing exactly what Donald Trump's doing, but it's not Donald Trump, you know? It's, I like the anti-establishment thing. We know it's been getting fucked for the longest time. Yeah.
If you don't mind me hopping in, one of the things that Donald Trump keeps bringing up, and I think a lot of people are missing, is when he talks about, when I think you mentioned about, or you asked about Bush having prior knowledge. One of the things that Donald Trump has mentioned, he's referred to a memorandum that the White House did in fact know that they knew. It may not know exactly when it was going to happen, but the White House knew, and they had a memorandum entitled "Bin Laden Determined to Strike in the U.S."
Sure, exactly. And also, the week before that, I mean, we had, what was it? It was a George H.W. Bush meeting with them in a hotel in New York City, like a week prior, and all air traffic was canceled for everyone else after 9/11 except for the Saudis to go back. It's a little fishy in my mind.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of
a little fishy. I like that. Yeah, a little fishy. My ass, man. That whole story reeks from top to bottom. That and the fact that jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. I'm sorry, it just doesn't.
I encourage all
people trying to make these conspiracy theorists look like they're crazy. You know what I mean? It's exactly what people want. They want us to look like we're discredited until these claims that it's actually true, get dispelled by the general populace.
I encourage every listener out there tonight to Google Susan Lindauer. And her last name is spelled Lindauer. She was actually the operative. She worked for the CIA from the mid-'90s until about 2003 as the handler for Iraq for the CIA. And she knew the attacks were coming, and she tried to warn people. She knew that it was not coming from Iraq. She repeatedly approached Iraq about this, and she was shut down before 2001 because of what she says. Again, Google this woman's story. It's fascinating. Her name is Susan Lindauer, Lindauer, and what she says is that she was shut down by the executive branch, which would, at three people would have been Dick Cheney, George W. Bush, God bless him, and Donald Rumsfeld. And two of the three of those people, in my mind, are Lucifer themselves.
I personally hate Dick Cheney more than anyone in this whole kind of establishment.
I completely agree. I really don't have beef with W. I don't. But Rumsfeld and Cheney, I just think they're the devil.
Well, have you ever heard of this group called MJ12, Majestic 12?
I've heard of it, but why don't you go ahead and inform the listening audience of that?
Well, MJ12, from what I know, I mean, I'm not, I briefly read about it, but it's a group of people with a government clearance level called Majestic, which is the highest level. It's about, the claims are it's about 15 levels higher than the President of the United States has himself. So people know, it's this group of elitists, I forget who's in it, Greenspan from the Federal Reserve was a member.
Alan Greenspan.
Alan Greenspan. A bunch of top generals. Dick Cheney's a member as well. Actually, there's this guy, I forget his name now, I wish I could remember for the audience, but he wrote a book about it, and about Majestic 12 and Alien Seekers, which I guess can, he can kind of tell you, to give and take what you want to hear from it, but he released all the names of the people in Majestic 12, and it's Dick Cheney is one of them, and it only goes to show, with Halliburton Oil, this whole Iraq War thing caused all the instability in the Middle East. It goes to show like what were our intentions with Dick Cheney being in a position of power at the time when he owns a huge oil company in the Middle East. It's a little fishy to me too, in that aspect. That's why I hate Dick Cheney.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I completely agree with you. And we see Jeb. Like, what do you think about poor Jeb with an exclamation mark?
You know what? I hate when people say poor Jeb because fuck the whole Bush family. I mean,
fair enough.
Language, but
I tell you what, I will say this. I'm going to go way out on the limb here because I had never thought of this until tonight, and maybe I was that simple-minded, but I've always kind of had sympathy for Michael Jackson in his life. I think that guy was nuts. But then I look at what Michael Jackson had to live through, and like he was 8 years old, and he was like getting shoved down Diana Ross's, that whole thing, and he was supposed to rape, and Joseph Jackson was beaten to death. Like, think about being like we're all like Jeb Bush is a horrible person. Think about being George Sr.'s father. Like, can you imagine that? Like, that's how you grew up.
Very true.
Like, your dad was on the ground when Kennedy got killed. Like, can you imagine how you feel about life? Like,
well, he definitely has pressure to, live up to his expectations of his father, and you always see him quoting like in the last Republican national debate.
Yeah,
he thinks his father's like his biggest hero, and he kind of happy that he was an influential guy, not agreeing with what he did necessarily, but.
I have
sympathy
for his stupidity. I personally have sympathy for his stupidity. Like, I do. Like, I understand why he thinks what he thinks. He's with a sheltered,
he definitely has an ulterior motive.
World.
I don't think he's stupid. I think he's a very smart guy. It's just.
Oh, I don't.
I think he's thought out. I think he's definitely just thought out.
Because I think George Sr. is a brilliant, evil man.
Oh,
absolutely. Now, Junior, however, Junior and his track record before he became president of the United States, kind of lends to the fact that he was not the brightest member of the Bush family. And I think his record, as president of the United States, when he was speaking without Cheney's hand up his ass. Kind of lends to that as well.
And I'm very black and white in the stuff I think, and I will tell you what, I am not going to sit here and tell you George W. Bush was the devil and Jeb Bush is the devil, and yet at the same time they're so stupid they can't spell your name like most Bernie people think, which, by the way, I don't have a big problem with Bernie Sanders. I have a huge problem with his supporters because they're so delusional.
I like what he's doing. He's kind of doing the same thing as Donald, but on the left.
I agree.
As opposed to the right. You know what I mean? He's very anti-establishment. But the one thing I don't like about Bernie is like he doesn't ever come. He kind of dodges the question of like where he's going to get the money for.
Bernie's control.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
So, I mean, I like him better than Hillary. I'll tell you that.
Well, I think anyone, again, with a brain would, look, on record, like, we all know if I'm endorsing anybody, it's probably going to be Ric Flair. I'm a big fan of Ric Flair. Like, I'll do that.
Woo!
Yeah, if you want to put Ric Flair in as president, maybe I'll go with you on that. Ron Paul, maybe.
I want Ron Paul. I'm a libertarian myself.
Yeah, I'm a Ron Paul guy. I like Ric Flair, but so to me, like me commenting on these candidates is not about, oh, I'm supporting or not supporting them. I'm literally just commenting on their policies. And
right.
Bernie, he's kind of sincere, but he would destroy this country. Like,
he was pushing us more towards what Europe is, with socialism, you know?
Yeah, bro. Anybody, I will say this, any human being, I don't care what your intentions are. I don't care if your intentions are, we're all going to go to heaven after we pay this check. If your position is, we should probably give more money to the government, means you're either a fool or you're
I
a
agree.
sellout. You know, that's how I...
Well, we know they don't know how to manage money, our government, you know?
Right, they've got enough money.
Well, I
Jesus
actually think we can take them out of the military.
Kevin.
Jesus was a socialist. You know, that's one of the things that it burns me up when I hear Christians or even other well-intentioned people saying and using that same argument that the government needs our money because, of course, Jesus helped the poor and wants the poor to succeed and wants them to do well. So therefore, we need to be willing to open up our pockets and let the government actually be the middleman. I hate hearing that, but it's the same thing we're hearing from the Bernie supporters too. It's just a complete faith that is just uncanny with the abilities of the federal government to somehow improve everybody's life.
You know, I'd like to venture something here. If the government were actually functioning and working for the people and not busy waging war all over the world and expanding the military and everything else, perhaps giving money to the government to help us all, like, collectively might be a good thing. But you know what? That's a fantasy, and it is absolutely not the reality of what things are. So that plan
It is.
I mean,
look at how profitable war is. You know, they're never going to want to pull us out of the Middle East. The war makes, big interest, ton of money. You know, think about how much war or how much money we made by going to Iraq. You know, and that caused destabilization. You almost questions if that was on purpose to cause more war, kind of like Vietnam, to prolong a military presence to profit more off military contracting. You never know.
Exactly. The contractors are a big deal. They're making. I mean, like, the military is almost becoming privatized, like the prison industry. It's kind of nuts how much profit there's to be made off war.
Exactly. It is nuts. Yeah. But listen, guys, I'm actually at work, so I got to go. But it was nice talking to you.
Yeah, I tell you what, thank you so much for calling in and answering me to Radio Night. Absolutely fantastic call. Brought up a lot of great points, and I think the points that were made are coming from Middle America, because we can sit here and live on our little show on the internet, and we can be all like, oh, we're so cool, we're against all the politicians. But, like, you have to admit, like, some politicians who you hate say, like, Trump and the 9/11 stuff, sorry, blown away. Like, well done. Bernie Sanders.
Well, I want to throw this out there real quick, though. This is any time that you have a situation like this where somebody who has been so polarizing as Trump has been during his candidacy thus far, with his xenophobic remarks and racist remarks and build a wall and all of this vitriol and hate. I have to ask, why is he suddenly shifting gears now? Does he have somebody whispering in his ears behind the scenes and saying, look, 2/3 of Americans are not voting. These are some of the issues that they're talking about. Why don't we start to steer the conversation towards there? Do you really think this is coming from his heart?
I do. I think he's nuts. I do.
I think you're nuts.
I do too, and a lot of it, he took a lot of flack from a lot of the Bush supporters in the debates. and each time he's mentioned Papa Bush in any kind of negative light, he's took a lot of boos and a lot of criticism. So I think that's kind of where some of this goes. And Donald Trump is somebody that, he seems real adamant about wanting to prove his point. So I think that, as people's booed him and he's called negative flack, I think that's him just pushing back. And now that he's made these claims, and Jeb keeps turning around and saying and acting as if, what is this man talking about? And completely just either ignoring it completely outright or making it out like Trump is, just talking off his rocker.
You never talk bad about my daddy.
Right, yeah, and I think it's just adding more fuel to the fire that Trump's just like, okay, well, I'm going to prove these people wrong, the ones that were booing me, and I'll give them something to talk about. But one of the first callers we had earlier asked about Israel's involvement. I kind of get a little bit, I kind of roll my eyes when I read some of the comments online, where, commenting, well, we already know the 28 pages talk about the Saudis, but they don't mention the Israeli connection, so it's irrelevant. I'm like, it's irrelevant, huh? And so anyways,
I totally think Mossad was involved in that. I personally believe that.
I'm sure you saw. We've all seen some of the redacted stuff that Fox tried to pull off the air about all the apparently the Israeli spies that were rounded up or that tried to flee the country. So there's probably a lot of other factions that, like you said, factions, not people necessarily of the nationality. But Claire, you were fixing to say something else.
Claire, I tell you what, I want you to go ahead and weigh in on this before I just snap and ruin the rest of the show.
No, please do. I'm interested.
Okay, well, you asked for it. Here's the deal. This is what I personally think. I think it's a joke to insinuate in any way, shape, or form that it's this, that there's countries involved in this nonsense. It's like, oh, it's the United States' fault that did this, or the Saudis, or look, there's a collective. There's a very small, minute collective, which how Bernie taps into saying they're financially, they gain something from this. But look, we're screwed because there's a part of the CIA that was involved from the time John Kennedy got his head blown off in the center of Dealey Plaza up till this day. They got Reagan shot. By the way, look at how Reagan got shot, because if you don't know, for anybody listening, Reagan did really take this path down the wrong, he took the country down the wrong path, but before Reagan got shot, he didn't sound that bad. He got a bullet put at him. Wait till you find out what happens with Donald Trump. We live in a world, you put bullets in people. That's where we're at.
Hillary Clinton. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I blurt out Hillary Clinton's name? I'm sorry. I usually do that when I hear the word bullet.
I can't even take it. Claire, go.
Well, I'm not even sure where to go with this. I just, there is a narrative that is being dictated for us. And I think the biggest mistake that we make right now is falling into this divisive tactic of blame this person, blame that person, when really there is the government and, a small group of elites within the government, and they are doing their best to make sure that we're too busy tearing each other apart than to realize what it is that's really going on, which is that all of our freedoms, whatever they were to begin with, are disappearing out the window, and it's all for a narrative of power and war and destruction all across the world. And if we could just stop blaming each other and being xenophobic and having all these arguments, we would do so much better.
Just blame everybody. Let's just blame everybody. Why not? I mean, that's how people... I tell you what, we were having a conversation here since I've been in San Diego. Had a great...
Rub it in.
Say what?
Yeah, rub it in.
Yeah, clear. I'm going to rub that.
Beautiful, gorgeous weather. Screw you.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I walked outside. I saw clouds today. So, you know nothing.
I hope you get caught up in an earthquake. That's all I'm saying.
I felt the hardship of looking at clouds. So, but I tell you what, we were talking about the issue of sexuality and how that was approached, and it's basically this dictatorial kind of, you better believe how I believe. Like everybody, like liberal, conservative, everybody's just believe how I believe. And this has to happen. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. Listen, that's insane. I am a Christian. Tell you right now. To tell somebody how they should live their life and how they should believe and how that means where their soul's going to go, and you want to judge them for that, you're a lunatic. You're a lunatic. You're crazy. Who the fuck do you think you are? And I don't like saying that word on this radio show, but give me a break. Shannon.
I'm what I don't understand. You brought up sexuality. I don't understand how people could be having sex because there's wood in the cheese.
I'm just
I
saying.
mean, you know,
I'm sick of the judgment.
we have really skimmed over this.
It's stupid. It's stupid. Who do these people think they are? They're like, oh, we're gonna bomb these. We're gonna bomb these people. We're gonna judge these people. We're gonna do this thing. We're gonna vote for this person because I know best. That's what everybody on this planet thinks because I know best. That's crazy. Everybody.
You know, you need to dial this back just a little bit because again, we keep skimming over the most important issue in this show, and that's the fact that our cheese is tainted. Cheese, Scotty. You know how important cheese is in my life.
I love cheese. Player, you wrote a story about some cheese.
I'm sorry. I'm really this story has destroyed my evening. I just want you to know that right now. To hell with Trump, to hell with World War III, and all this xenophobia. There is fucking wood in my cheese.
Yeah, and apparently there has always been an acceptable level of wood to be added to Parmesan cheese.
Acceptable level. Damn.
Well, I mean, I guess it helps to declump the cheese, which I don't know. I mean, it's supposedly harmless, you know. Which, okay, whatever. But this is apparently a very widespread problem because these companies are adding way too much wood pulp to their cheese. And Bloomberg tested like just a few samples from a few different companies and found that the levels were really high. But the inside cheese industry folks say that it's perhaps an industry-wide problem. So, yeah, and some cheese wasn't even Parmesan cheese at all. It was like a mixture of a bunch of other cheeses and wood.
Who cares? Listen, this ain't Monday and this ain't Wednesday when Nick's here to give his real opinion about keeping it cool and that's all keeping it. Nah, I'm in charge right now. Who gives a shit?
Fuck you.
I didn't want to bring it up. He made me.
I brought it up because it is an important issue. Oh, my anger.
Don't care. Look, this is what I want. This is what I want for you, Claire. This is what I want for you, Shannon. This is what I want for you, Kevin. This is what I want for everybody listening. Live your life. Have a good time. Enjoy it. Don't get so wrapped up in this nonsense. This is stupid. Look, I'm telling you right now, you want to know the truth? I know the truth. Call me. Ask me. You want to know it? Call in the Anti-Media Radio, 718-717-8296. We got the truth. But look, man, it ain't that serious. Don't get wrapped up in it. Have a good time. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your life because there's psychopaths trying to run it for you. That's all I'm saying.
Claire, you and I would be saying the same thing right now if we were sitting in San Diego. The hell with him.
Area code 507. Welcome to Anti-Media Radio. This is your host, S.M. Gibson. Tell us your name and where you're calling from tonight. Man. Shannon, there's a lot of technical difficulties coming from the spot tonight. Big time.
I thought you cut me off for talking about cheese.
Yeah, I would have thought that too. Like I've gotten banned from Facebook for like a bunch lately. Feels like that's what's going on tonight. Like they're just.
I have a lot of friends who've been banned like in the past couple days for really, really asinine things too. I think there's like a big crackdown or something going on right now.
I'm not even sure I got Shannon back on yet. Like, Kevin, you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Yeah, they're coming at us.
I don't think Shannon's on, though.
No, I don't think he is either. But I tell you, that's, like, to me, that's the thing that's so insane is if they want to, like, shut down a loudmouth like me, then something's going on. Area code 408, welcome to Anti-Media Radio. Tell us your name, where you're calling from tonight. Didn't happen again. Look at it, government. Government!
So let's install some more government to try to fix that government.
Bernie! Vote for Bernie! That's the thing. Like, I don't hate Bernie, but good God, more government? No, dude. No.
Hey, guys, this is completely off topic as hell, but I just wanted to bring this up real quick. I was a little surprised to hear this. Didn't know if you guys had heard it. But apparently the Islamic State now, can you care to guess, you guys may know this already, so care to guess what currency they have decided to make their official currency to handle their business transactions?
Oh.
Counterfeit American dollars or something like that, right?
I
would guess gold.
Well, and Claire, I think you're probably closer to it. They've declared that the U.S. dollar is now their form of currency. But, I would question, too, you're right. It's probably, I could imagine, being counterfeit. Surely it's a lot easier to get away with counterfeit dollars over there than it is over here. But, I just thought that was really interesting. That I was a little surprised to see that.
Yeah, I heard they were having money problems, too, but I don't know if I never even looked into that, so.
I can imagine that's probably the reason why. They're not the only country. Of course, small, various radical movements that are also using the dollar too. It's holding their value, unfortunately, more than a lot of other currencies are. But anyways, I just thought that was a little interesting. I want to drop that out there.
Well, I tell you what, we only got a couple minutes left, and it's been a while since we heard from one of our great callers and great listeners, a very perceptive mind, Chase. Chase, what do you think about all this?
Man, I don't think much of nothing these days. Ask him, Gibson, tell me the truth. Let's hear the truth tonight. We want to hear the fucking truth. Let's hear it.
Well, you probably listened.
Tuned in about an hour ago.
I ain't gonna lie to you, but I'll tell you the truth. That don't mean I'm the most intellectual person you'll converse with tonight.
Well, I ain't looking to converse to nobody. I tell you what, man. Things are tough. Things are hard. But I gotta say, man, we're alive, man. We're living. Tell
you what, man, I so much appreciate it. Let's go ahead and jump to area code 734. Welcome to Anti-Media Radio. Tell us your name, where you calling from tonight.
Hello there.
Welcome to Anti-Media Radio.
Am I on the air?
Yep.
I'm kidding. That's me. That's Kevin. Man, we're getting a lot of crank calls or...
You're killing it.
Man, you really aggravated somebody.
Yeah, well...
About ease.
I tell you what, this whole Saudi Arabia Donald Trump thing has really got some people up in arms because, good God, they just let us do what we wanted about Saudi Arabia until Trump started saying it. And all of a sudden... Like, I really think... I'm going to go ahead and say... We all know I don't want Donald Trump to be president. I honestly, to God, believe that he is Hitler 2.0. But I think he is saying the realest stuff I've ever heard. I'm very confused.
I agree with you.
I'm confused.
I'll be honest with you about Trump, man. I've actually, when it all first started, I kind of got on, and I'm about to bring some heat to this and we're in the last minutes of the show here. I'm actually about to bring some heat here. I don't completely hate Donald Trump. And I mean, I know he said some screwed up. He has said some screwed up stuff, but I don't believe him. He's full of crap. He is full of crap, and anybody knows that he's full of crap. He is full of crap. He's playing the system. I mean, yeah, the guy's he is crazy. He says some crazy stuff, but I think he's playing politics. I think he's playing on everybody, man. I think that he is bull crapping. He is bull crapping everybody.
Well,
everybody.
I don't know. Claire, what do you think?
I don't, whether it's a ploy or not, it doesn't really matter because everybody knows that there is something in those 28 pages that he is referring to because otherwise we would already know what's in them.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean...
You mean underneath all of those black marks that I saw on the 28 pages would actually, when you look at what they didn't redact, came out to about 14 and a half pages.
I tell you what,
black
let's
highlighting.
do this. I'm going to go ahead and break away from the show. Shannon knows, Kevin knows, and God bless you, Claire, you're patient enough to deal with it. That I talk about wrestling sometimes on this show because that's what I think politics are. And there is a chant on wrestling that's a New Day Rocks. That's a chant. So let's get the chant, release the 28 pages. Release the 28 pages. Let's release them. Why not? You got nothing to be, you ain't scared, you got nothing to hide, let's release them. Let's tell us what's going on. Was it the Saudis? Was it the Bushes? Come on, let's do it. I'm challenging right now Donald Trump, the U.S. government. Throw it out. Let's make this happen.
Instead of focusing on Trump being the person saying it, let's focus on the 28 pages instead.
28 pages. 20. I'm down. What would Vince McMahon do?
Vince McMahon would have already printed up some T-shirts. You should already have some T-shirts. Before you announced this, you should have already had a whole entire line marketed to bumper stickers and keychains.
Well,
the 28 pages bottle opener.
You better believe it. And that's what Trump's doing. And that's what I'm trying to do here on Anti-Media Radio. I'm just trying to be that complete lunatic for the truth. I get what they're doing. I just think they're crazy. Just trying to get the truth out in that exact same form. All right, we got a couple minutes here left. Live from San Diego, California at ucy.tv/TAMR for Anti-Media Radio. Kevin, couple last words.
Man, you guys wrapped it up. It's been a good show. Enjoyed hanging out with you guys. World War III decides to break out between now and next Tuesday, next show. If I don't hear from you guys, may y'all make it. I wish you the best, sincerely.
Love you, brothers. Coming soon. Claire.
Release the 28 pages.
That's it. Shannon!
You want to waste your vote? Do it with Vermin Supreme. Through the booth. Supreme 16.
That's it. This is SM Gibson for Anti-Media Radio.
Release those pages. Release those pages. 28 pages.
28 pages. 28
pages. 28 pages.
Here we go through the stereo.